All right, guys, we're finishing up the note sheets from Wednesday, 4.1, 3.41.
Rylan had my paper.
I was just seeing where we're at.
Last week.
I do. Yeah. You can go on and grab it. So, we started doing these on Wednesday. So we did addition and subtraction. We did the first four here. So we did these two. Really, we're on these two. We'll look at these here because when we add or subtract complex numbers, we add the real or subtract, combine the real numbers, our real terms, and then combine our complex terms. So for the first one here, 13 plus 4i minus 8 plus 4i, first thing we need to do is simplify or resolve the parentheses here. So the first 13 plus 4i, since there's nothing in front of those parentheses, we can really just drop them. It stays 13 plus 4i. Our second set of parentheses, we can distribute the negative through, turning it from 8 plus 4i to negative 8 minus 4i. Questions on this so far? Now at this point here we can combine our like terms. So 13 and negative 8 are like terms. So 13 minus 8 is 5. Then we'll combine our imaginary terms. Our 4i and negative 4i. 4i minus 4i is? So 13 plus 4i minus 8 plus 4i is 5. 5 or 5 plus 0i. That's it. If we look at the next one, the first thing we can do is distribute that negative through the parentheses, which would give us 16 minus 13 minus 6i plus 8i. Well, 16 minus 13 is 13. Negative 6i plus 8i is plus 2i. So it resolves or simplifies down to 3 plus 2i. And that's it. Questions on addition and subtraction? Well, the next thing we're going to look at is multiplication, multiplying these complex numbers. Now we look at the first one here. 4i times negative 6 plus I. We're going to distribute the 4i through. So we're going to first do 4i times negative 6. 4 times negative 6 is going to be 24. And we still have our I, so it'd be negative 24i. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to multiply 4i and I, 4i and 1i. Well, 4 and 1 is just going to give us 4. Our I times I is I squared. So we multiply through by 4i, we get negative 24i plus 4i squared. Now we can't leave it as this here because we cannot have I to any power greater than 1. Now I squared, out of all the powers of I to have memorized or know, is one of the ones that was good to know because I squared is negative 1. So what we're saying is negative 24 plus 4 times negative 1. Because I squared is negative 1. And really, as you multiply or do any of these operations with I, every time we get an I squared, I would just rewrite it as negative 1. Now at this point here, we do need to simplify because we have 4 times negative 1, which is going to make it negative 4. So negative 24i minus 4. Now, most books will not let us keep it in this form because they do want us to write it in standard form. And standard form is a plus bi. We want our real number first, and then our bi, our imaginary number, second. So when it's asking us or telling us that we need to rewrite it or write it in standard form, they want it in a plus bi form. Real number first, term with I second. So negative 4 minus 24i is the answer. Question on our first multiplication. We ready to look at the next one? There goes. No cheat from yesterday. So we look at 15i times negative 1 plus 2i. We're going to multiply both of these terms by 15i. So 15i times negative 1, 15 times negative 1 is going to be negative 15i. 15i times 2i. Focus up here. Focus. So 15 times negative 1 is going to be negative 15i. Or 15i times negative 1 is negative 15i. Now 15i times 2i, 15 times 2 is going to give us 30. I times I is going to give us I squared. Now at this point here, we can't leave I squared, so we have to simplify it. And I squared is just negative 1. So it tells us that we have negative 15i plus 30 times negative 1. Well, 30 times negative 1 is negative 30. Now we could rewrite it like we did before and say that we have negative 15i minus 30. And then we would what? Switch it. Or we can just go on and switch it and say negative 30 minus 15i. Because we know the 30 is going to go from positive to negative and is going to go in front. Bless you. Bless you. Questions on these here. Multiplying a monomial with a binomial. Bless you. Bless you. Now we're going to multiply two binomial, two complex terms together. Now this here is not going to be anything really different than what we just did. We just have to do it twice. All right, guys, focus in, focus in. So first thing we're going to do is multiply by 9. So 9 times negative 4 is negative 36. Then we're going to do 9 times 7i is going to be plus 63i. So we're going to multiply through by 9 first. And once we finish multiplying through by 9, we're now going to multiply through by negative 2i. Negative 2i times negative 4 is going to be positive 8i. Negative 2i times 7i, negative 2 times 7 is going to be negative 14. And I times I is I squared. Essentially the exact same thing we just did, but instead of multiplying through by one term, we're multiplying through by 2. Now at this point here, we're going to have to combine like terms and simplify. Negative 36 at this point does not have any like terms. Our 63i and 8i are like terms, and they'll give us 71i. And I squared, we have to simplify, which simplifies to negative 1. Now our negative 14 times negative 1 is going to be positive 14. So we do have a like term with our negative 36. Because our negative 36 and 14 will combine to give us negative 20. Questions on these here? Are you ready for the next one? So what are we going to do first? We're going to multiply through by 4. 4 times 11 is 44. 4 times 8i is going to be positive 32i. Then we're going to multiply through by negative 12. Now negative 12 times 11 is going to be negative 132i. And negative 12i times 8 is going to be negative 96i squared. At this point here, 44 does not have any like terms. But 32i and negative 132i do. And if we combine those, we get negative 100i. Also, we do have to simplify our I squared term. We can't leave it as I squared because I squared is negative 1. So we're going to replace I squared with negative 1. Now we're going to do two things. One, we're going to multiply our negative 96 and negative 1 together, which is going to turn it to positive 96. And I'm going to move it over next to the 44 because we will have to combine those. And 44 plus 96 is going to be 140, telling us that these multiply together to give us 140 minus 100i. Questions on this here? Questions on this here? And that's it.